So, gang, I have bad news and I have good news. We don't have the correct starting screen for this week, but we are back with another week of Heroes and Hooligans where we are playing our Grim Hollow campaign Delirium, doing our first Fireside chat of Season 2, where our players will be joining each other for a drink and a meal, maybe, at the inn at Stehlenwald. Having just had a long day and a half's ride across the Rocktooth Mountains, our players are coming up to the marvelous tiered city of Stehlenwald, resembling a celestial stairway carved up to the sky from granite and marble, filled with statues. There is a large palace that looks to be made of a pure crystal at the topmost level that perhaps some of you have seen before, but very few of you would be used to. And you can see that this is the only city within the Burok Empire you've seen so far where the architectural influence is not human, but a massive blend of ancient architecture from dwarves, gnomes, and races long past into the night. Our party is going to ride up to a nondescript stable on the edge, since this is not my world to make people up in, and find a also nondescript inn somewhere in the lowest tier of the city. As we move in and find ourselves at a small round wooden table in a inn carved into the very tiered steps of the city itself. What's our party ordered for themselves? Let's go ahead and go around the table. Who's eating, who's not, and how fancy we dining? Let's start with Fiora.
Fiora is gonna eat and drink, but she's not fancy dining or anything. Like whatever's super cheap is good for the food, so she can have more ale.
All right. Celine.
A big old bowl full of nothing and a giant drink.
All right. Loki.
Whatever the inn special is, if there is any, or anything of the locale, and water.
All right. And Arthur.
Yeah, being in a place where we now have to pay for stuff, I think just some water.
Just some water for Arthur. Lovely. And Daruk is, of course, going to order whatever's cheapest so he can get the most of it. Does stay away from the ale and stuff tonight. Sticks to water himself.
Bunch of
So
cheapskates,
we're all
a lot of us.
Yeah, we're all sitting here with. I'm going to go with lovely bowls of stew and fresh, nice, crusty bread for those of us who are eating.
How about that stable hand? What a wild, distinct character that I can't wait to hear more about next time we hang.
They really were an individual to be perceived and interact with.
Some controversial views, which I can't wait to hear
the bright pink hair was a very good choice.
And how about this inn? I couldn't tell if it was 10 stories tall and elegantly decorated or just a meager 2. It's as if my eyes can't see outside of the table.
Don't look, Loki, don't look. Preserve the mystery. Preserve the majesty of it. Let's just focus on ourselves.
Exactly, you're ruining things for yourself.
You're ruining it.
Yeah, and as we gather here, we see a group that's newly come together. I mean, most of us met, 3 days ago? Sorry, 4. We rested.
Yes, 4 days ago.
Yeah. Might have been like a week with travel time to get there, but yeah.
It's all right. The trip was silent.
Well,
it
was
wasn't silent.
Yeah,
It was
they
just
made sure of that.
We couldn't speak over Dave. Too many people were appreciating his performance.
I'm pretty sure you were the only one doing that.
Hey. The captain liked it too, obviously. Why else would he have
Yeah,
taken
so
such
much
good
that he
care to make
drunk
sure
them.
Dave got medicine?
Speaking of the captain, is anyone else a bit concerned about this organization?
Quite.
Let's just go through the checklist here, right? We were here for what, a day, and they sent us out with one trained sergeant who immediately died. And immediately 3 days later, without any kind of training or preparedness meeting, nothing, just sent us out here on another mission with no guidance.
They really seem like they think that tea is going to do all the work for us.
I mean, it is comprised of demon blood, so who knows what effect it'll have on us.
I mean, but we're not hunting a demon. We're hunting
that we
something
know.
that's stealing bones, as far as we know.
I mean,
That sounds like a demon to me.
Yeah, there's. I'm not ruling out demon.
Fair enough.
I mean, fair. It doesn't seem like a well-oiled machine there at the Grey Wardens, but I don't know. It seems like they have the right idea. At least it seems like they mean well. I've worked with some.
I mean,
Less
I've met well
interesting.
my entire life, and I've been arrested in the hundreds of times overall.
Fair.
At least once a year.
Yeah, I'm not a huge stranger to that either. But regardless, I don't know. I think it's an okay place to be. Food, a bed, a nice array of interesting people. I wouldn't have met Dave anywhere else,
Well,
hopefully.
that's fair. We wouldn't have met Dave anywhere else.
Wait, are we talking about reasons the place isn't bad or reasons that it is?
I think it's
Except one
okay.
half dozen of another.
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
it's not every day you see a guy and his horse get fucking consumed by a shadow, so,
Telling
could
me
be.
I
Where
wouldn't
else
have
are you gonna
met
see
Dave without being here isn't really a point in favor.
True.
You weren't in the cart. You don't understand our
Dave-
pain.
Yeah, he's
Dave
actually seemed a
wouldn't
lot
have-
quieter to me. than you
Dave
guys
wouldn't have
describe him.
gotten his help if it hadn't been for the Grey Wardens. Let's consider that.
I mean, I agree. It seems like somewhat of a shit place where all of us have a decent chance of dying horribly.
Yeah.
But
Welcome to Atharis, I guess,
yeah, exactly. TIE. This is Atharis.
There's not a place. That might be my new life motto. There's not a place around here where you're gonna die. This is Atharis.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Truly.
Do you think you're going to stay the full year?
I might inconveniently die at some point.
I can't be certain.
Yeah, it's hard to say. We'll see what happens. I'm not opposed to it for now, but if this is our last bastion against these otherworldly forces and this is how organized they are, we don't really have a hope.
Yeah, also not sure,
Hey.
again, how many demons I'm really going to slay as a 20-pound wooden boy, but
With zero training.
zero training. Oh, a little training. Not in killing demons, but better than the
That's
salt
what I
mines
mean,
that
though,
keep
right? The
demons.
wardens didn't give you anything, right?
No.
I mean,
Well,
I've got
this uniform.
a very little bit of training in killing demons, but it's definitely not from the Wardens.
You've been around demons before?
No, God no. I have a little bit of training to kill demons. I've never fought them myself.
Oh.
From who?
Oh, a friend.
Interesting friend.
Yes, perhaps you'll get a chance to meet him someday.
Sure.
To be fair, most of the training was this is how you slow them down so you can run and call for help.
Good training.
Honestly, probably the best training you can hope for.
I mean, so far.
Probably
having
what we
a-
should have been given before we got sent out to fight them, yeah?
That's kind of my other thing. They kind of just sent us out there without really telling us anything about what we were going to hunt.
They didn't even make sure we had proper demon fighting equipment. They just said, "Hey, grab what you came with."
That is my proper demon fighting equipment.
I
I'm
mean, yes, same, but like they've watched me walk out there with this shield and a stick, and said, "Yep, that looks right."
Well, I mean, you are a. I don't even know what to call you. You're a big fairy dude who uses magic, so the stick kind of doesn't really hinder that.
Yes, but did they know that? Actually, it's
I mean-
possible, I guess.
Sergeant Pepper had training.
Yeah,
and
that's
very
look what happened to him.
So maybe we're just doing it right and we don't even know it.
You know, we should have. Maybe we already know how to fight demons. Maybe that's why we got picked because we're a bunch of criminals.
Yeah, like it's not like they're particularly picky. They just brought in a bunch of people who got found guilty of crime. So like it's not like they're picking out the cream of the crop that don't need training.
I mean,
Yeah, well,
it's
there's
not exactly
also-
a job you'd apply for.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, there. Captain Jim Bob said quite a few people here are volunteers or like family legacies. They've been here for years and years and years.
Oh, speaking
He
of
said
Jim
it's about
Bob,
50-50. Yes.
Speaking of Jimmy Bob.
since we've got a little privacy, you said there was some other mission you were going up. We had to go on that he told you about.
He told me there would be another and gave me this sending stone so that he could reach me about it when we were finished.
Any details about it?
Should be in the area of Lysek, I believe.
Well,
Huh.
they sure don't like to tell us much. That's
In
true.
the area of Lysek, you say, sort of like your family.
Oh shit! I told you about that.
Don't you have a safe place near Lysek in the area of Lysek?
All right, so there's not a second. Well, there is it's not a second mission.
It's a
is
personal
a-
mission.
Personal mission that I have received permission for.
What kind of personal mission?
Uh,
Wasn't it on fire last time we went past there? And again, that was a few days
Yes.
ago, so I don't really
yes.
remember.
So
Wasn't it
last
beautiful?
I
Was.
heard the belfry burned, and last I'd heard of Lysek previous to that, my only child was investigating the belfry. So
Huh.
yes,
So
I'd
we're
like
going
to-
to check on your child.
yeah, basically. Well, I want to check in on my kid.
I mean, we saw a guy and his horse get fully eaten / put in the ground like pretty recently. That sounds fine to me. I don't mind doing that.
You know, instead of fighting demons, we get to go check in on my kid. If we can't find them, we, go to the farm and relax for a couple of days and then call him and say, hey, everything's all right, false alarm if it is. Or say, hey, nothing's all right, need a little extra leave if it's not. Seems to me like, getting time off is a good way about things anyways.
I don't mind. I'd be really interested to see what your family's like.
Oh, they're wonderful. They're just don't eat anything my husband cooks for you. Or if you
I
do, don't
eat
swallow.
anyways.
Okay.
Actually, you two are fine. Actually, probably Fiora and Loki. If my husband cooks for you, you can put it in your mouth. Don't swallow.
That's what she said.
It's just gonna make you sick.
After that tea drink, I think I'm probably a bit more prepared for anything that's going to put me into a coma.
Okay, fair. I took that tea drink like a champ, and his food makes me sick. Every time I've eaten it. I love the man, but he can't cook. And he keeps trying.
Well, gotta commend the guy. He's trying to get better.
Yeah. He should really
You
just
just-
leave it to the rats, though,
Yeah. Ratatouille. Good meal,
Well, I'll have some.
I think.
Did you say your husband worships Vitara?
No. My husband was quite familiar with the teachings of name Aurelia.
Aurelia. Okay.
He tried to, impress some upon me, but not much of a man of culture, Didn't really stick up here. A lot
I
of
can't
space in
blame
his
you.
head for things to get lost.
Everyone has their own callings to the divine, one way or the other, and if yours presents itself differently than his, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's never been much for callings to the divine. I prefer to work with what I can get my hands on here on Atharis.
That's understandable. The world can seem like they don't really pay attention anymore, the gods. But
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're dead.
yeah,
They're undoubtedly dead.
depends who you
Yeah.
ask.
I'm fairly certain that they're dead.
Arthur pulls out this book. It's this he always has it on his person. You would have seen it before. It's this very pretty, looks like way too nice for anything Arthur would own. This purple
Nicest
and
thing
white
he owns, kind of thing.
Easily. This purple and white codex. It says Codex Sacrificio on it, and he says this is a work dedicated to my patron Morael, which is the arch seraph of mercy and self-sacrifice. But Morael is an aspect of Vitara, the goddess of love. So I like to believe that Vitara isn't truly dead, still alive in the works of her aspect and all of her disciples here on Atharis.
Oh, well, that's very sweet. And I'm glad you have that belief to hold to.
I mean, I do magic
No,
now, so it's been worth it.
Truly, I mean, I'm very happy for you. I don't believe that's something I can hold myself, but I'm glad that it's something that works for you.
Well, it's certainly brought me no shortage of difficulty, but I think it's all worth it.
What's life without a little struggle?
Exactly. A little
There's a reason.
sacrifice.
Yeah, there's a reason There's a reason I unretired.
What did you do before you retired?
Well, before I retired, I did much the same as I was doing right before I was arrested. I'd wander around and see if a town had a problem with a local beast, or if they needed some logging done, or if they needed some words of advice on how to, protect the livestock in the farms for the winter. And I'd give the advice. I'd go find the beast, see why it was troubling the townsfolk, see if I could help, and if I couldn't help the beast and change its patterns, kill it.
You were arrested for that?
No. That's what I was doing before I was arrested. I was arrested because I owe about, let's see, 6 months of inn stays, and I didn't check out at 3 of them, so technically 18. I owe about 18 months of back pay for inns.
Fair enough. It's not
And
that bad.
that's including a prodigious food and drink bill for each.
Of course, you
That
know
makes sense.
the terrible crime of being poor.
No, I mean, I could have afforded it. It was the terrible crime of
Dining
forgetting that I owed money.
Scumbag.
Oh, you steal because you. Oh, okay.
Of course.
You're okay.
Mr. Moneybags over here could have afforded it.
I could have afforded if I'd paid it piece by piece by piece. Probably. I still haven't quite done the math because they came and arrested me, and that's when I found out that I had forgotten to pay my bill for a year and a half.
I don't even want to even begin to accumulate the amount of money that I owe people.
Is that what you're here for too? You also just don't pay for things?
No, I've done a lot of things in my life.
That brings up
That
a
I
solid
remember.
question.
Unlife, yeah?
Can we
Kinda.
cover that? Are you dead?
I mean, yes and no.
So unlife. Got it.
I mean, I don't eat, I don't drink. Well, I don't need
Same.
to, but I ain't gonna not drink. I don't need to sleep. So if you literally just see me standing there watching you, I'm literally just staring into space the entire night. But
You know, there's this
I-
I have a friend who I met a while back who slept, quote unquote, by just staring into a corner all night. Might be worth trying out. That way you don't scare the shit out of anybody if they wake
But
up to
where's
get a
the
glass
fun
of
in that?
water.
no, most of the time I
mean,
just
Fun's
either
not the
walk
point,
around
it's
or
just
work out.
basic decency.
Right, you are talking to the person who was arrested and brought to court because I woke up in jail and decided to just leave for my numerous
Okay.
crimes.
You
Multiple of
still
which
haven't
can-
elaborated on what numerous crimes are.
Yeah, the more I hear about you, the more confused I'm getting.
I've killed
Yeah,
a
the-
lot of people. I've stole a lot. I'm pretty sure
The
at
more
one
I
point I
Oh,
tricked a
killed.
rich student into sleeping with his sister, but then again, that was like 6 years ago. So God knows what I actually did. All I know is that that entire town wants me dead. So I haven't been back to. Fuck, I don't even know where it was. I've done basically everything you can think of, and more. There's a reason I kind of
Well,
don't
some
wander
of
around.
us certainly belong here.
Yeah,
Hey,
heard
I
don't know
died
what's wrong.
around like God knows how long. I've
How'd
only
you
been awake
die?
for about. Good question. I don't know. I kind of just woke up in a grave around 15 years ago.
And you don't know why you woke up?
It might have something to do with a weird green thing in my back, but other than that, no.
Okay.
Arthur,
All right.
if we're asking potentially offensive, what are you?
Same thing, actually. Killed a bunch of people. Woke up in a grave 15 years ago with a thing in my back. No, I'm what's called a Vexelkind. I'm a
Fairy child,
and then
yes.
Arthur like looks like he's about to shit for a second, just, and like the wood glosses over until like it's replaced by skin, and like red curly hair comes out, and he just looks like a little ginger peasant boy.
Did you
and
just shit out skin?
yeah, kind of. It's that's
Is
how it
it-
feels.
Is it weird that you look creepier this way?
Yes. No one's ever
I'm-
told me that actually. This is and he's like gesturing to himself. He goes, "This is Arthur, Arthur Quince, the Arthur Quince."
I'm gonna call you Charles.
Sure.
No. No, Charles doesn't work.
Something took Arthur when he was about this age, and they put me in his place, and that was nice for a bit. But then this, and they transform, it fades back into the puppet. He goes, but that wears off after a while, and eventually Arthur's parents figured out, and that was the end of that. And that's me. I'm a Vexelkind, but I prefer Arthur.
So you never. How long? What? Do you know?
What did you do before you were swapped? Like, where do you come from?
Before I was what?
Swapped. You were swapped with this
Oh,
Arthur
yeah.
boy. You
Oh.
said something took him. What about before that?
I don't remember anything before that. I remember waking
Oh,
up in
so maybe
Arthur's
you
bed.
did kill people and die.
I might be able to. I might
don't-
be able to
maybe.
enlighten a little bit.
Really?
This might be of interest to you, Arthur.
Can't
My
see why.
child was on the other end of that deal at one point. She was an Arthur. Not
Did you get her
Arthur
back?
specifically. Well, she wasn't my. They weren't my kid yet.
Did you get them back?
Well, they weren't my child when they were taken.
Did they come? Are they
Yes,
still gone?
they're here. They're here on this plane.
And Arthur gets weirdly serious. Goes, how did you find them?
Okay, so a little bit more. They found me. So they got taken by a hag. You know what hags are?
No.
Very
I've heard
bad
stories.
Very bad fairy. They got taken by one of those. Wandering in the woods one day, replaced with one of you. I suppose.
But you got but they came back. But someone saved them.
Well, they were only trapped with the hag. So because they didn't make a deal, the hag could only keep them until they were so old. Because she wanted to raise them as a successor, so to speak.
And the hag, is she?
And when the time came to, hey, you want to be a hag too, right? It was my dear darling Edith said no and ran away and found her way back here to Athoris somehow. We haven't really pressed her because, you don't want to push children to, talk about their trauma before they're ready.
Does she live with you?
Sometimes. Usually she wanders.
What's the town we're going to? Lysander? What's it called?
Lysek.
Lysek. Will she be there?
Well, that's why we're going there. Is because
she's the one?
She's the one who was investigating the belfry before the belfry caught fire and all that. And we found out I heard the rumor was there were vampires in the belfry at Lysek.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Could I speak to her? If we find her?
I mean,
when we find her?
Yes, of course. I'd love to introduce the two of you.
Do you know if the hag is still there, wherever she left it?
I would assume.
Okay.
So when you say in the area of Lysek, we might have to go to Lysek?
Probably not. Well, it might be nice to stop into the city proper, but it depends on what condition the city's in. And also, I don't really want to catch that fucking disease,
Oh, I'm good with diseases. I'm just kind of wanted that.
Yeah, I guess if we're doing this and we're going to be working together a while, up front, I'm also from Lysek.
Oh!
And maybe not particularly welcome there.
We need disguises.
Do we want to know
We don't
why?
need disguises. We don't need disguises. We're currently members of a very important multinational conglomerate of military.
That's not going to
members.
stop the people who are after us from coming after us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I keep forgetting you two are violent criminals. My bad.
Okay, I'm only violent to those who deserve it and people that piss me off.
We only did what we
Which is
needed
everyone.
to survive. Well, I can't speak for Celine. That's what. Listen, I guess. So I grew up on the streets of Lysek, and as you guys have mentioned, with the plague going on, you can only imagine how much love the locals had for the local dirty street urchins. So when me and my friends did what we had to survive, stealing food, doing whatever was needed, and by the time we realized what we needed to do to continue living there, no one wanted to give us a chance. So we built a boat and started raiding the Golden Barge Company's ships for food and supplies. And
Doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any problem with I have no problem with stealing from large companies like that. I mean, food and supplies is a little rough. That might have been going somewhere that needed it really badly, but it's understandable if you're starving, your belly comes first, right?
Well, so you see, it kind of got to the point that they hired outside help, and look, if you guys were talking about, you mentioned that I have some experience leading, and obviously I do, but you guys should know that everyone who was a part of that crew except for me is dead.
Oh, not great.
Counterpoint. I'm already dead, so
Well, and you've already been part of her crew.
No,
Didn't you two come in together?
we've known each other for a couple of years, but I was not part of her crew.
no, I met Celine after. Basically, there was a big battle. They had hired outside help. They were ready for us this time. And one of my other friends, who was a spellcaster like me, cast a spell on me, which is supposed to be temporary, except that it wasn't for me. And by the time I got back to the docks, they were all hanging there as Lysek was sending a message. And that's how I got arrested, because, as I said on the way over here, I sent the wrong messenger when I was trying to send my own message back to them.
Your messenger dobbed you in then.
I kind of mugged a guy, and apparently he was in town for a wedding. I might have burned a symbol into his chest.
You know,
just cause
we all do
They
bad
killed
things
everyone
for-
I've ever known. What do you mean?
Oh, I thought this
We
was
all
a
do-
random wedding person who was.
Oh
in
no, he mentioned that he worked for them, so I was
Oh,
sending
okay.
that. I told him to go back and tell them I was coming, and then
Got
he
it.
went to the wedding and told the governor or whatever that I did that.
Oh,
As long
so
as we don't
like,
spend.
gotcha. Well,
As long as we
That's
don't
not great.
spend like months shoplifting at Target while we're there, I think we'll be all right.
I think
Okay.
maybe wear something over your face like a cowl while we're there.
Yeah.
What
we'll
was
figure-
the spell
we'll-
that never ended, by the way? Just out of curiosity. If you don't mind. You can keep it to yourself.
No pressure here.
It was. I think it's more powerful than magic even I know now. But it was a spell used to banish creatures, particularly creatures from a different world.
That sounds interesting.
Oh, I see. You went elsewhere, and by the time you came back from there, all of your comrades had been.
Well, so you remember the other day with Sergeant Pepper when I said I'd seen things like those before?
Yeah.
So the way the spell normally works is it takes someone away for a minute. After a minute, it just ends and they come back. Unless the plane you banish them from isn't where they're from. So I wound up somewhere with lots of darkness and fire. And all of a sudden, this great giant thing was standing over me. And I saw a bunch of smaller ones come at me. He protected me for much longer than a minute. And then sent me back. I came to a few miles south of Lysek on shore and made my way back to town. And when I saw that, I left.
And you're from Atharis originally, right?
I mean, I never knew my parents. I was just always on the streets of Lysek.
I thought my time before
I'm
the Grey
from
Warden just
Atharis.
fucked up. Me
To
too.
answer
I
your
think.
question from earlier, Celine, what I am is an ogreish.
No, I know what species you are.
I wasn't sure. It doesn't seem like there are too many candles.
I don't know the word for what you actually do. Like, you do plants and you do magic.
Oh, I believe the classical term is druid.
I had no idea what an ogreish was, so I appreciated it.
It's him.
I prefer wood witch myself, but the classical
Woods
term is
witch.
druid.
I've met a woods witch in Voros. Have you ever been there?
At one point I passed through, but I don't think it would have been me. I'm
No,
pretty
it
distinctive.
certainly wasn't. Interesting. I had never heard of another one, and you seem nothing like her. Well, a little bit like her. Anyway, what about you, Loki? Are you dead? Have you killed a bunch of people?
I actually woke up in my grave 13 years ago
It's the epidemic.
after a great war. No, not.
Oh,
not
so
really.
you remember why you died? No, I'm joking.
I am.
You're a puppet.
I am not a puppet. I am very plain. I am just a human. I'm just a guy.
Hey, there's nothing plain about being human. Your people killed off 90% of almost every other race in Atharis. Be
And
proud and disgusted
Exactly.
at the same time.
I have no pride in that, which is part of why I pursue what I do, which is being an anthropologist. I am not similar in the vein that I've been arrested a number of times for numerous violent and non-violent crimes. I may have attempted to steal a few things, and that's what got me caught this time, and I've been arrested a handful of times before. I've never sought out harm for anyone. I enjoy the study of others. You'll notice that I am quite quiet at most times. That is because I'm observing. I like to take in the room. I like to take in the surroundings. I like to listen and people watch. It's something I'm quite good at. I spent my youth with my folks, and truthfully, we were also they were traveling as well. I don't know if you would say gypsies or another term, but we never really settled anywhere.
Hey,
We were always on the road.
Just 1 second. For future reference, not a word we're going to use on this channel.
Oh, got it. My bad.
I will speak to the
that's
fact
fine.
that not
No
a
worries.
lot of
We just
people
wanna-
know.
Yeah,
No, I appreciate the correction. Thank you.
I'm sure it didn't come from a place of ill meaning, but
Not at all. No,
I had
but
to be corrected about that myself a few years ago because I had no idea it was offensive. But yeah,
all right. But yeah, please go ahead.
yes, we were travelers in a sense. We never settled anywhere. Dad always managed to make a way for us in one way or another. And I always got to see tons of people. It was fun, I suppose, which is what got me to what I was doing. I started traveling on my own, and most recently I'd been spending time in the mountains. I was spending time with some dwarves, and I discovered of a race, or first heard of a race referred to as the Dreamers, that I've been dying to know more about. Supposedly, and this may be a myth, I'm not too sure about it, they are people who were buried in the mountains for a rather long time and have been trying to make their way back into society. And that sounds extremely interesting to me. So I was trying to steal some documents from a tip from a trusted contact of mine that might have had some information about them. And that landed me here in this lovely blue uniform.
stuck in the mountains and trying to dig their way back to society. That sounds like regular dwarves to me.
Well, we are in the largest dwarven settlement in Atharis.
Camera
might not
pans
be a
out
bad
to just
idea
a room of dwarves.
Yeah,
Literally,
yeah,
the only tall people here.
we pan out. The room is about 50% dwarves, 25% gnomes, 20% human, 5% something else that Huli will explain next week.
Just a bunch of unlockable character silhouettes walking around
Yeah,
the bar.
basically.
Damn it, I don't have the fucking... What's it called? Battle pass.
Well, that sounds honestly a lot cooler than any of our things. That sounds way more pleasant and interesting. Is that what you're going to do after your year's up? Is go back to studying the dreamers?
Who knows? A part of my journey that I've never had to partake in is violence, and as I was educated so aggressively a few days ago, I am neither tough in battle or in consumption of heavy drugs, and as such, I'm going to try to improve myself over the coming year.
I can fix both those things.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you need help with violence, we got you covered.
I
I'll
work on
we've
it.
got some drugs on the farm.
I'm not too interested in the drugs part, but I am interested in improving myself, which is why I picked up some new gear and if we're practicing with it a little bit when they would let me leave the sick bay back before we left. But
Well, and hey, you know, there's nothing wrong with drugs as long as they're done responsibly. You know, they can be quite good for getting to know yourself better.
Sure.
I don't think I know myself better at all. I think I do know my demons a bit more intimately now.
Fair enough.
Do those have names too?
Yeah, you do know demons a bit more intimately now.
Clearly.
Well, if you're interested in improving yourself, I usually hold a mass in the middle of the night when everyone else is asleep. So if you want to come by one time, I'd be happy to have you. There's a lot to learn in here, and I guess also sitting with the book still out on the table, you might notice just every now and then, if you're not paying attention, out of the corner of your eye, the text on the page or on the cover almost flickers or shifts for a half a second. But if you look at it, it's normal.
Magic shit I don't like.
But no, it's fun. We sing songs. I mutter a lot. There's some cutting involved. It's great for improvement, for self-sacrifice.
See, you keep saying we. Does somebody else attend this mass with you, or is it sort of a royal we?
I like to think that Morael attends all of my proceedings, but no, it's just me for now.
Well, self-growth is also, a bit
Also-
my thing.
Oh,
Although growth in general. The path of nature I've dedicated to myself to is exponential growth. Taking what Itharis has given the beasts of the land and sky and sea and making them better. Faster, stronger, deadlier, more hardy. You might have noticed it when I shifted into the wolf, Arthur. You saw my
Yeah.
claws, how they silvered themselves and grew magical?
I did see that. I was a bonus action away from trying to ride you.
Yes, that works.
Phrasing.
So that's kind of my whole outlook on nature, is getting the birds and beasts of the world to better themselves and be bettered so that they may survive past all things in Itharis that would kill them. And you kind of see a little bit of a maniacal glint hit Daruk's eye for a second.
That's not bad. That's not a bad way of looking at things.
I like
Does that
this side
extend
of
to-
Daruk.
Yeah. Does that extend to people?
People are just animals that can talk, aren't they?
You telling me animals can't talk?
Well, I mean, they can to me. They can't to most people, but,
Yeah, I suppose. Interesting.
So, Loki, if you ever want to be injected with strange alchemical substances to see if, oh, wait, that happened the other day and you got sick and went into a coma.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate the reminder. I'm not still shaking from it or anything.
Yeah, what was that like?
Yeah, how bad was that?
Horrendous. The next, I believe the doctor said 20 hours. I was just in a state of psychedelia, I suppose is the best word I got out of the conversation with them because they were using words I don't usually use.
Would you say you were delirious?
I suppose a state of delirium would be an applicable description. Yes,
And that's
It
our
just-
show, gang. Thanks for coming.
Play the title card.
I can't. I don't have the right one.
painful. Tossing, turning. I don't really remember perceiving anything in particular. It was all abstracts. But I didn't like any of
know.
it. I can tell you that much.
It looked painful.
Did you observe for a long time or just the part where I collapsed?
Hey, I don't sleep, so I was there for the entertainment.
Were you hovering over Loki while they were in the medical bay?
I mean, not literally.
She didn't
But
leave
were
your
you
side,
were
Loki.
standing there watching them?
Standing is also a different word. I may have been up in the rafters.
I was
What
going
were
to
you
say,
doing?
Watching.
What?
Hey, I enjoy people suffering, okay? Leave my kinks to myself.
I was going to say, I
Celine
came
likes
in.
watching people too.
We can leave your
I just-
kinks to yourself if you leave other people out of your kinks.
But then how am I
If
going to
they're
watch
not
people?
if they're not voluntarily consenting to it, you should probably leave them out. You know.
To be fair, I did ask. I didn't get much of a reply. So I just went with it.
I came in at one point and read a prayer for about an hour and a half over him. I had no idea you were 10 feet above me.
Yeah, those rafters are really high.
Did you hear all of it?
I was there the entire time.
Good. Gonna get some more
Cool.
water.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get you some more water. Actually, can you leave us? Hey, can you leave us a pitcher of water? Two
And
pitchers
two
of water.
pitchers of ale.
Could you also tell
Yeah,
us
so
your
2
whole
pitchers of ale.
backstory?
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
random strangers that we don't know.
My name is Stephen Dwarfson. I was born here. I'm gonna die here, and I haven't left this tavern since the day I was born.
I
me
can
mom
speed up that
runs it.
depth bit if you want.
Me pa used to run it. I'd rather you didn't.
No one likes to have fun around here.
But you're not opposed.
I mean,
All
I'm
right.
pretty heavily opposed to my death. Yes.
We don't need your whole life story, Steven. Can we just have our drinks, please?
Oh yeah. All right. All right. Someone else gets to run the next NPC. You guys
shit.
actually.
Oh, fuck.
No, never mind. I take it back. I take it back. I take it back immediately. I said it out loud. I
Well,
realized
hi,
it's a
guys.
bad idea. Someone other than Kevin.
Hey, I'd make a fabulous NPC. What are you talking about? His name would be fucking Billy Bob. 'Cause-
We already have one of those.
no, you have a Jimmy Bob. There's a difference.
Oh, that's right, Jim Bob.
Yeah, Jim Bob. I'm Billy Bob. I'm his cousin.
All
So,
right.
do all of you have big plans for after we're done with hopefully surviving a year of fighting demons? I know, Loki, or you have some academic plans.
I mean, honestly, the more I've heard about this Grey Warden thing, it kind of sounds like what I was already doing, but with a support system. So maybe I'll see if I can slide down to like a contractor basis. You know?
Like a consultant, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Fiora? Back to robbing Fortune 500 companies?
You ever try to run a ship with one person?
No, I've never been on a ship.
Doesn't go well.
We can fix that.
I don't do great with water, but so what you're
watertight?
But no, to
I-
answer your question, I don't really know. I haven't had a plan for a long time. So I guess we'll see what happens. Who knows Thinking about what I'll do a year from now seems crazy when we're being sent out to hunt demons and could die every other day.
You're not wrong.
It's not as bad as you think.
Oh, dying or fighting demons?
Both.
Who are
I mean-
you people?
Hasn't your only experience fighting demons been with us? And didn't you almost die again?
Hey, you don't know what I've done.
Do you know what you've
Pretty-
done?
No, not really. But
Yeah,
then
do
again,
you?
I might have killed demons. No,
Or demons might have killed
haven't-
you.
I mean, it is
Maybe
plausible.
that's why you woke back up. Maybe you've got a demon.
No, I
in your
know
back.
why I woke back up.
You said
It's
it's
just
that
everything
green thing in your
before
back,
that.
yeah? I thought you said you didn't, and you thought it might be related to that green thing in your back.
It's complicated. I know how and where I woke up, but the how is and why is difficult.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that how might be a demon killed you, and now you're infected by it. I don't know.
I mean, it would definitely
It'd
explain
explain
some of the
your
weird things. that happened.
Absolute lack of conscience.
You know,
I know I
we
have
could
one.
try.
It talks to me all the time.
You just ignore it.
I mean, to be fair, majority of the time it is telling me to kill people.
Just super regretting asking
You know-
about any of you.
Yeah. Hey, Arthur, you wanna go talk about what it's like to have a fairy child, or to be a fairy child?
I
You wanna
don't
go find
know
some
anything.
adoption papers?
No.
You sound like
what?
you sound
I'm
like you
very-
never really had a parent.
Hey,
Again.
you
31.
do not get to
31
take
years
my
old.
child away from me. I've already claimed him.
You're not qualified to be a parent.
I am a man.
You don't know
with a
that, and neither do I.
Social security number, and if I had skin, it'd have 5 o'clock shadow on it. All right, I'm a full-on adult. I had I guess something like a father figure for a good 7 years there, but
Other people, I wouldn't want to overstep, you know?
no, I never really thought of it that way until just now, but not really much of one, just sort of a dude who was older than me who taught me a few things and dragged me around for a while. Not Geppetto, before anyone asks.
Wait, what 2 things did he teach you?
Oh, a few
the fuck
things.
is
A few
Geppetto?
things.
Oh,
Oh, Geppetto, it's a story of a wood carver. A lot of people like to bring it up.
I don't get it.
You know what? It's copyrighted anyway. Don't worry about it.
I
but
mean,
no.
Copyright.
Blatantly not.
I was like, yeah, I don't think it is.
Oh,
Actually.
Pinocchio-
no? Oh.
You heard it
isn't
here
owned by
first, guys.
Disney.
We're copywriting the tale of Pinocchio. That's
In that
it.
case, I am Pinocchio, actually, and it is Geppetto.
No, the
didn't
copyright
joke you?
the copyright issue was the image that we were
Gotcha.
concerned about.
That makes sense.
The Pinocchio itself is God,
It's,
what's the word?
the Grimm brothers, I believe, or whatever they're called.
No, it was a Italian story, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember what the word for the thing that Steamboat Willie just became.
Yeah.
Public domain.
Yes.
Public
That-
domain. Thank you, Don. You're always there with the saves for me when I lose words. I appreciate that about you.
I try.
But no, basically just saying not really searching for a father or dead mother figure at all. Just kind of looking to get my year done, and then we'll see.
I mean, the fact that you said dead mother's figure specifically makes me not believe you.
Well, Celine has tried to adopt me as.
Okay, I understand. Yes.
There is no try.
Wait,
Eh,
but didn't you say the other day that like you had nowhere else to go? Like you couldn't go anywhere? What will
Me?
you do after a year? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know where
Yeah,
I
we
can
don't
go.
have to quit after a year either. You
I
can
might
stay
sign
on.
on for another one. It depends. I need to put out some feelers, I guess, and see
it's
what things
also
are
like-
like in other parts of the continent.
It's also our first week here. We don't know
Exactly.
if it's going to be this bad the whole time or if it's going to be worse.
Could have been a fluke. The other teams could have done amazingly. Who knows? I didn't ask.
Well, no, three people died there too.
Oh shit. Okay. Well,
Yeah, three other
Fair.
people died. I believe it was.
And it wasn't Dave.
But Dave made it back.
Dave made it. I feel like Dave is going to be.
I don't know if they actually sent Dave out.
That
I
is a good
mean-
question.
He's here. They have to.
But
That's
yes.
the induction.
Well, they don't have to do
Oh,
anything.
that's fair.
All I know is the people
But
at this
so-
table at
but
the end of
yes,
the year might not be alive. Dave will be.
I probably
Dave
still will
will,
because
yes.
this thing does
I
not let me
really-
die.
I think Dave's gonna shoot up the ranks really quickly now that he's medicated. I think
It's
Dave's
gonna
gonna
be
be.
a
I
captain
think
when we
Dave's
get
gonna
back.
be promoted to take. I think he's gonna take Sergeant Pepper's place. Honestly,
Please don't
Sergeant
put that
Dave.
into the universe. We do not need Dave overseeing us on every mission, Dark.
If he
Well, it's
even
okay, we
tries
get
to
to pick
order me
our own-
around, I
No.
am just leaving.
we don't need. We aren't gonna have anyone overseeing us. We pick our own leader. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's
mean-
true. It's not you're not going to be ordering us. It's going to be ordering you around.
What do you mean ordering me around?
Well, you're our leader.
You
You're
guys
the one that
really
goes to
want me
report.
as
Wait,
as
no,
your
hey,
leader?
we said we'll see how this mission goes, then decide. I wanted Fiora at first, but now that I know everyone that she's ever led has died,
Well,
Like-
I mean, to be fair, up until that point, she was doing a good job.
not to. Okay, up until I got arrested, I was doing a good job respecting my parole.
Listen, I invented an entirely new profession that I'm sure hundreds of years from now will be a flourishing trade.
Yeah,
It doesn't look great on
Come on,
that.
stealing?
That's true.
Stealing from boats.
she calls it pirating.
I was gonna say I call it piracy.
Like stealing DVDs?
The fuck is a DVD?
I mean, you wouldn't steal a house.
Everyone, I would download a car though.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's everyone make a wisdom save to not die from that eldritch knowledge that just got imparted upon us.
All right, fine. Move.
Yours going crazy.
That's a nat 20 for Daruk.
Are we actually rolling?
No, I just wanted to see what I would roll.
Fucking roll.
I've been rolling a die.
How the
like, off
did
and
I
on
get a
all night.
16?
I do get a thing out of game. I do get a thing where I'm going to be able to start imparting eldritch knowledge into people, and that might have to take the form of out of universe references. I'm not sure.
I would love that. I don't know how Huli would feel about it though.
I will get
To
us in
be
trouble
fair-
with copyright somehow.
As long as there's not really like copyright infringement, I don't think she'd care.
It's all just going to be
Yeah.
Aesop's fables.
As long as we're not repeating Daddy 50 times in one episode.
Oh my god.
I was kind of glad I wasn't there for that one.
I
was
was
great.
very upset that I was there for that one.
Hence why me not wanting to be there.
No, that was great. But no, the list of the dead was Jorah, Bearston, the Wolf, and Sergeant Pepper. 4 people died.
I stand corrected. Well, we'll just try not to do that.
You know, try
Trust
not
me,
to
it's not
die.
as bad as it seems.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, you came back eventually, and didn't you say you don't remember dying?
You mean the first time? Yeah.
So you've done it since?
Yeah.
Every answer breeds 10 more questions.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, if you want to take a look at the thing embedded in my spine, you're more than
I
welcome to.
have been really afraid
You
to
know-
ask, but I would love that, yes.
you know, maybe we save that for the morning. It's getting a bit late, and we do all have a great deal of work to do tomorrow. Actually, you two don't need to sleep, do you?
Nope.
So, Celine, why don't you go to church for once in your life? And Arthur, you can check out that back thing.
She might burst into flames.
Francis.
You know, I'm not opposed to it happening at this point.
How would that even work? He's a fucking puppet.
What's that now? How would what work?
My
Church?
brain. Well, yeah, that I'm dead. Aren't dead people not like allowed in church?
Oh no, it's not that kind of church.
I don't
There's
know.
a-
That's
it's also
how
going to
Wendy's
be.
apparently
It's
set on
also
fire
going
some
to
days
be
after I
being
left.
held in, the room of an inn. So, why
Yeah,
don't
but-
I go get us all rooms? How many rooms do we want? I figure we can put the non-sleepers together in one.
Sure.
Loki, would you like your own room, or do you want to share with someone?
Whatever's cost effective, I suppose. We have to be mindful of our group's finances if we're going to be out for so long.
Just get 2
Fair enough.
rooms.
Also, I mean, honestly, the cheapest thing might just be to get a room in, just to get a cot in the general sleeping area. And then the 2 of you can stay down here, if you'd like.
I have no preference. I'm going to be doing mass and then reading all night. So whatever's easier for the group.
I'll be standing in the corner.
Why don't we get a ladies' room and a guy's room, and if Arthur wants to study Celine in our room, he can.
I mean,
Sure.
I was going to try to get a double room to myself so I could push a couple of beds together so I could fit.
That works. You can do that too.
You can have
I
my
don't
bed
know.
if you want. I'm not going to use it.
Ah, there we go. There we go. I'll borrow the bed from Celine. Oh, wait, no, but if we're getting you a different room,
I can carry the
these
bed.
logistics are horrible.
We are making
Yeah, but
this
how
so
will the inn
complicated.
feel about us moving beds across rooms? You know?
Are they
Yeah,
really
to
gonna
To
stop
be
a couple
fair,
of Grey
I
Wardens?
wasn't
We're here
going
to
to
help
ask.
them.
Yeah, let's ask.
Tell them it's
Alright.
Grey Warden business.
Hey, Steven,
And
how
if
much
that
is it
doesn't
for a
work, just
couple of
tell them I'll pay
rooms?
them.
And can we move beds between them?
What's that? It's free, and yes, of course.
Steven says
Thanks,
yes.
Steve. You're the best.
Yeah, thanks,
Steve
Dave.
says
You're
yes,
the best.
and the cost of it. Steve says yes, and the cost of inns is already included in the cost of living calculations from D&D. What an amazing thing!
Oh my god. So amazing.
What a game.
Such brilliant NPC work.
Yeah, I didn't know Steve also worshipped an Eldritch Domain cleric to give us that out-of-game knowledge. But I guess
Hey,
so.
we don't know what Steve's on about, okay? Maybe he is just an eldritch being.
All right. But that is where we're going to wrap our first fireside chat of the season here as we all go ahead and head up to our rooms. Thank you guys for joining us, and thank you, our lovely players, for being here as always. Anybody have anything they want to shout out, anything they want to plug before we end?
Well, thank you for running that. That was a ton of fun. Never had a fireside before myself. It was a good time. I guess
Yeah.
watch
You
Blue
know,
Eyed
we love
Samurai
doing a
on Netflix.
fireside every
It's
once
very
in a
good.
while.
Yeah, I'm just glad I was here for this one.
Non-spawn.
If we're
But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's alright.
Well, I have nothing to plug. Whenever I'm asked to plug things, I say vote your conscience, donate to charity, cast me in your shows.
Hey,
What
you
he
know,
said.
I'll second that. But no, thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful night. We've been Heroes and Hooligans, and we will see you Thursday night for Gilded Destinies. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Did he just leave?
Oh, he
the-
just
He fully
left
did.
the studio.
This is our show now, boys.
Oh.
left
Our
the
show.
studio
We're running
with
it.
it
we run the
running.
show.
We're doing a mass scene, and it's going to get weird.
All right, everything that just happened did not happen.
No.
Here's what
Wrong.
actually happened.
That
We're back
was
at the
all a
stable.
dream.
We're back at the
Fever
stable.
dream.